For you today, it's time for the lightning round. We're going to go straight back to the phones. Rob in Orlando, you're live with Larry Perry.
Rob, you with us?
Hi, Larry. Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, no problem.
I try to be as brief as possible. Does the octane on the gas will give you some type of more performance on a vehicle?
In some cases, Rob, and this is a great question. Number one, if you have a turbocharged vehicle, which, nowadays we're using much smaller engines that produce a lot more horsepower. And the fuel that you use in those vehicles will determine the actual power or horsepower that you can get out of the motor. And let me explain how this works. When you use a lower octane fuel in a turbocharged engine or a supercharged motor, which isn't as common as turbocharging, the engine itself, via a knock sensor, will actually tell the computer system that it needs to retard the timing somewhat and actually increase the fuel disbursement out of the fuel injectors to offset any type of detonation. This happens so subtly you don't even know that it happened. But it does actually rob a little horsepower off the top end of the engine itself. If you drive, to church on Sundays with your grandmother's cat and you barely, you're just driving a car extremely easy, you would never notice it. But if you're out on the road and you go to pass somebody or whatever, and you're running 87 octane, you're going to notice a little bit of a decrease in the horsepower of the vehicle as opposed to where if you were running a higher octane fuel. I always like to tell folks, it's not ever going to hurt anything, to top a tank off with 87 if you got a turbocharged car, or if your car requires premium only and you run a tank of 87 in it. If you drive the vehicle like a normal vehicle, you're probably never even going to notice the difference on it. And one of the crazy things is in some vehicles, and this is my customers base, they'll tell you that a lot of them will get better fuel economy with regular 87 octane as opposed to a higher octane fuel. And if your car just likes lower octane fuel, by all means, run it. The biggest thing to be concerned with is when you start getting into your pickup trucks like your F-150s with twin turbos and stuff like that, you do want to try to run a minimum of around 89 octane. You don't have to run 93, but you do want to, or 92, but you do want to try to run pretty much the mid-grade in it, just so you can overcome any spark knock or detonation or having the timing retarded considerably and losing a lot of the power, especially if you're doing any towing. Now, if you're doing any towing with your pickup truck, I'm going to tell you point blank, you need to run nothing but 93 in it. Under any towing conditions, you want to run the highest octane fuel that you can get your hands on. So, but that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I'm not going to sit there and tell anybody that if they run 87 in a vehicle that they're going to have major problems. The way that the fuel is dispersed into the engines nowadays, we're bypassing intake valves and being direct injected right directly into a cylinder. So the fuel has a lot more. You don't lose as much of that fuel's potency as you used to. You run 87 octane in a carbureted car. Well, by the time the fuel got out of the carburetor and set on top of a hot intake valve, waiting for it to open before that fuel actually got into a cylinder, you lost so much of that fuel's potency that it just took a lot more to run a vehicle than it does nowadays. And that's one of the biggest reasons we get such better fuel economy. So, yeah, as far as you're concerned, run the 87, but, you may just want to run a tank of higher octane fuel in it once in a while. Folks, listen, I thank everybody for tuning in. You listeners, customers, show sponsors, the reason I do the show when I have a job. You can tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time in Central Florida on 107.3 FM, HD Radio 96.52, and AM 580, worldwide at WDBO.com. And click Listen Live or just tell your smart speaker to play WDBO Radio every Saturday at 3 p.m. If you need help with your vehicle, you can always call Magic Mechanic at 407-629-2661. Visit our website, magicmechanic.com. You can also email your car questions directly to me, Larry at magicmechanic.com. Don't forget to check out the Magic Mechanic YouTube channel and click on subscribe. And until next week, be safe in and out of your car, and we'll see you back here next Saturday at 3 p.m. For automotive information, maybe you got automotive questions on cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Maybe you're thinking about maybe purchasing a used vehicle, and maybe you just want my opinion. Tune in to the Magic Mechanic radio show every Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. on WDBO.com. Also, tune in to our Magic Mechanic YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe. And we'll all get together, maybe fix a few cars while we're at it.